Council, would you please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, public comment. Anybody? Mr. Vaughn? No?
Concerning the property opposite my house that they burnt down last March, Sunday the owner had a 30-40-year-old rescue vehicle that at one time belonged to the sheriff department. It's non-licensed and that sort of thing. I just hope that doesn't become a used car, older than used car lot. Understand he still has about 30 days maybe to get that lot in shape as to what code calls for, as I understand it. And there's a whole lot to be done up there. Still some debris and stuff that should be hauled off, and the place is almost as uneven as the mountains behind us.
So that's it's an unlicensed vehicle that's been moved into the property here lately?
It was moved in Sunday afternoon.
I would think, yeah, the police ought to be able to take care of that, I think.
Is it on the street or is it on the?
Because it shouldn't be moved if it's unlicensed, so if they got there somehow, so I would think somebody should look into that.
It got there because it's still capable of being driven.
You know, not that this exempts it from needing to get a trip permit or something, but I wonder if, you know, didn't the county have a foreclosed, or not foreclosed, but a surplus equipment auction, was it last Saturday or the Saturday before? I wonder if he bought it there, but I mean, he would still need to move it legally.
Yeah.
Just hopefully it doesn't become a storage area for some of that.
The dropping off
point. If it was
point.
clear back to the back of the lot, it wouldn't be quite so bad, but parked up on the front end line.
Okay.
All right,
Just
thank you,
as a
Frank.
kosher.
Mayor, I don't know if I should wait until councilor comments or public comments, but I have a couple that, whenever. I can do it right now, I don't mind. I'll be on the public and I can go out there if you'd like, but it was 6 years ago or 5 years ago when I came on the council, and there were some park wood chips which were on reports that had gone into our park. And I've spent a lot of time through the years with all of my grandkids, and as of recent, during this summer, I've spent time down there as well with them. And I kind of thought we were lacking at the time that I noticed the wood chips had been installed, and they were down below the line that's recommended by the equipment manufacturer. There's little lines that are shown there where the chip should be up to. And this summer, it's been nothing but a mud pit at the bottom of the slide. And I saw some kids down there during the eating festivities. There were 2 or 3 of them that were just having a good old time sliding up and down the slide, mud covered, and you know, who wants to sit in a slide and end up in the mud ditch below and to slide down a slide, that you're going to end up being a muddy mess. So I don't think that's very good for our park to look like that, and I think we need to do something in regards to cleaning up our park and perhaps look at some funding for our parks. I think we're lacking in big ways.
Okay.
So that's one of my comments. The other comment I've commented on several times, because I am in the advertising business, I don't feel that misuse of advertising signage is something that this community should allow. For one thing, if I was just a resident to notice what I noticed yesterday in downtown Lakeview on our street corner, a hand-painted sign which was very lacking in well, I'm sure many of you saw it, and I won't go any further on that, and I won't comment on what it was, who it was, or whatever, but I think that we've gone long enough, and Mayor, I brought it up to you before, and I kind of agreed with you at the time that due to economic conditions, that we overlook signage that's out in front of all of our businesses. And you know, it's getting now to where you've got to step around a lot of signs to get into a business in Lakeview. And I don't think that's right for that kind of signage to be allowed in our streets when I do think we have ordinances that pretty much say you can't do it. And I know on 395 there are ordinances by ODOT that prohibit
Right,
signs.
usually ODOT takes care of the problem on the main street and does them, they can't put the signs there. Surprises me that they have not.
Well, we need to call them immediately when we see signage such as what I saw yesterday, because I think that's pretty derogatory in our community to look like that and to allow signage like that on our street corners, right on the county courthouse corner. Pitiful, pathetical, really. That's my comment.
Okay, duly noted. Okay,
Well, since we have the council acting as public, I would like to make a comment of the council. I'm concerned about the bicycles being ridden on the sidewalks, especially on Center Street down from the pool. I was getting out of my car the other day and had some kid, looked like he was elementary school, coming down and saying, "Get out of the way!" It just,
Not your
just
child.
flew right past me. And his mama was behind him. But I didn't know, whether to knock the little boy down or the mama, but.
yeah, you might want to rethink both
Okay,
of those.
I obviously did,
Yeah.
but I think that, I don't know if it's illegal to ride bicycles on the sidewalks
We
here or
have
not.
an ordinance against that.
Yeah.
I think you're on.
Ordinance on bicycles.
What
and
about those
skateboards.
little bicycles with training wheels? I've seen those with their,
Get out in the street with the rest of, no,
because
Take your
I've,
chances.
yeah.
I mean, just go by my house, which didn't
Yeah.
bother me, but it was like, they're too little to be in the
Okay.
street.
Both of those comments, or all three of those comments will be checked into, okay? All right, now we'll get back away from the public and back to the council. So, we'll move into communication
Mayor?
comments. Pardon?
Bike trips might solve that bicycle thing.
We might try that, yeah. Steve, did you have anything in public comment? Okay, very good.
Thanks.
All right, we'll go ahead and move into communication comments and informational items. Pretty much self-explanatory. I don't know if there's any comments? No? All right.
Just so, I don't know if you guys want them all or not, you can go onto the local, Lakeview Interagency Fire Center website and find fairly current fire information on a regular basis. Where I get updates, hourly almost, so I'm not forwarding or copying all of those anymore into the agenda. I mean, we knew there was a lot of fire danger until about last night, about 6 o'clock.
Sure felt good.
Didn't it though?
There's a lot of lightning in that storm too, so just because there's rain doesn't mean there's not a fire danger.
Well, that's right, and there's
There wasn't rain
danger,
everywhere,
but unless you want me to, I'll just say you go check the Lift C website if you want updated fire information. That's
I think
probably the
that's
best
good.
place to do that.
Because some of these are already kind of old by the time we have a meeting, so
Yeah.
immaterial.
Okay, we'll go ahead and move into the department reports. Chief Camp, what's the progress report on the chief?
Chief was back at the doctor earlier this week, and, no, late last week. He was here yesterday. He's suffering a lot of back pain still. And so I guess beyond that, I don't want to say much at this point, but he's
Is he back on duty or light
Part-time.
duty, part-time?
part-time, light duty, yeah, no, not in uniform.
Okay, just a question in the police department. I know we have Chief Camps on light duty, we still have Officer Boone on light duty. Are we going to be okay? We've got the Labor Day rodeo weekend coming up, or
I
we?
do some overtime involved.
Okay. But we should have things covered.
Actually, Chief and I talked about that yesterday, and he's working with OSP and the Sheriff's Department, working around those limitations that we have.
Yeah, the Staters has got one off on things, same thing.
I think they brought a different one into town, I understand, though. There's probably somebody here with OSP temporarily, so.
Okay.
And I'm sure they'll bring some extras in for Labor Day.
Yeah.
We're pretty bad, we gotta.
That's right, we gotta
Quick
keep us corralled.
Yeah.
Okay, we have no.
Scott was gonna be here today. I would just report beyond, Scott, he was working today, yesterday afternoon and today with a new part-time employee that we are just getting through the background and ledge training and all that stuff for dispatcher. I can't remember her last name now, isn't that terrible? A lady. How about that? Shanae, I believe her first name is. Anyway, she's was there today and making fabulous progress. A quick study, looks like.
Let's see, no Chief Morrow. Council has any comments on any of these, feel free to jump right in, but Mr. Anderson, Mr. Wilkie, you're president of County 4, do you have anything to add?
Well, you see in my report, I've been watching the drawdown on the wells, and the last couple of weeks, it's been steady at 104 feet, so.
It's been staying, is that what you said?
Staying at 104.
Is that a good level or a bad one?
Well, that's not too bad for as dry as it is.
Okay.
I've seen it at 118, so.
Well, I've been hearing a lot of comments, and I hadn't heard the official word from town hall yet, and I was hoping that what I was hearing was not true and correct, that we're fixing to start water rationing and everything else, but that's
not
this is the rumors that are going around. Okay. Okay, good.
I would like to make a comment about the utilities folks. The other day, there was a water leak out in front of my next door neighbors and called after hours, and Ron came down and looked at it and investigated right away, and I appreciated that. And I know the neighbors that came to me because of my position here appreciated you coming down.
Nice to hear positive comments, thank you.
Yes.
What?
I said, although nothing was done at that time, but he did come down and reassured us that that was not the
By the time I got a crew out, it would have been dark.
I know that.
Working in
That's what you said.
so.
That's what you said.
Well, it's nice to get checked out and some answers and know what's going on.
It was, I mean,
that is
it took
appreciated.
everybody appreciated, yeah.
Ray, you have anything to add to your report?
I don't think so.
I'm gonna go back to the water breakage. I read something just recently, Ron, that if it's not leaking, don't touch it. But and that was some of the main ones that are broken, like the one in LA or whatever, out down in Orange County, but you know, those guys have got some massive things ahead of them, and I'm sure you run across it all the time with what you're working with.
It was a
What's
pretty
in the
good
ground.
sized leak, but if it had been any worse, we'd have probably got out on it, but
Well.
water is shortage, but we're on it the first thing.
Yeah.
I'm sure what you've got to work with is pretty tough.
That was great.
That new reader board, when will that, do you know, I said in August, but do you have any ideas about when it will actually be installed?
I don't know if they'll get started on it yet this week or if it'll be next week. The materials are all.
Who's putting it in though?
It's kind of a combination. Starts are going to do the wiring. Rob Thornton is actually going to install the sign on top of the posts and stuff that Dog Lake Construction is going to do that part of it. So
Good.
all the materials in town, and it's Dog Lake is the next one up, and they're pretty busy with the soccer field at the moment.
That's coming along, that's.
It will be. Okay, we'll go ahead and move into the consent calendar. We have the June 2014 accounts payable, June financials, and the July regular meeting minutes. Any comments, changes, corrections?
Well, the minutes look very nice, except one little thing on page 2 where it says Mayor, Council, and Manager updates. So Sharon Faulkner absent, but she actually was there, so it just, she had nothing to add or whatever.
Yeah, that's what it meant, yeah, she did. No
Actually
additions to that.
It should have listed the mayor was absent and Sharon didn't have comments, so. Okay.
Okay, also on page 2, if I may, under the consent calendar, Mike Warren moved and Mike Hughes second. Could I ask you to please make that Michael? I
I will.
appreciate that.
Yes,
You have
ma'am.
every other spot, so thank you
Okay.
very much.
Uh-huh.
Okay, with those corrections, any other corrections? I'll accept the motion
I would move that we approve the consent calendar
with corrections.
with corrections.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Have a motion and a second to approve the consent calendar with corrections. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries unanimous. We'll move into council updates. which most of it was taken care of in public session, but there are a few other things. Number one, Ray and I received a proposal for a disc golf course. Guy wrote up, it's pretty decent proposal here. Would the council, are you interested in following through, having him come and present his idea? Would you like to table it? What would you like us to do? I have his proposal here, I haven't shared it, wasn't sure what the council would like to do with it.
I actually gave a copy of it to Sandy since she works on the park, and was involved with Seroptimus Park, which is the proposed location.
Yeah.
And I finally did look down today. That can be under my accomplishments for the week. But I did have a couple of, it would be at the Seroptimus Park, if you didn't know that. But I don't have, and I think we need to review our agreement with the power company, because at least the old agreement always said we couldn't change anything without their permission.
Good point.
So adding cement things to put the posts in, for one thing, would be.
Yeah, and there's T-pads in it for also.
Yeah, so that, I think we need to look at that first before we go further with it.
Get some information on it.
Monies? Is it a request for monies or just?
No, I'm actually,
Well,
I'm not
it didn't
sure
request
where it's.
money, but I don't know where the installation would come from.
Yeah, the budget, the total budget to put in a 9-hole course, if you read through this, it's a total of about $5,000, a little over 5,000. He has a budget here of $36.91, so I think we would need him to come in and explain the difference on his budget of $4,000 and the suggested cost on the front part of this is over $5,000. So, but I wasn't sure whether it was something we'd want to pursue. So maybe if Ray would check out those other things, get us some information on that, and then we could throw maybe 10 minutes in of our second work session to maybe discuss this, the one in September.
Yeah, because I have questions of why someone would want to spend $4,000, $5,000, and I mean, are they wanting to set up a place where you charge fees or?
It
No.
looks like
Green
it's free,
fees
it's
or-
a free use.
It would be free use, I think.
What I
but-
didn't understand from his proposal either was whether he was also proposing that we pay for that.
Yeah, well,
That's why I think, if it
Yeah.
works out, I think we need him to come in and explain it.
I have a concern too about putting posts and stuff out there in the lawn and blocks, and, you know,
Yeah.
it's got enough to do, and then you're weed eating around all that stuff, and you can't, you know, make it clean.
Well, then,
Cut
you know,
through.
the park's purpose is really for walking and exercising dogs, I guess, but how's that gonna interfere with people playing disc golf?
Okay, so I will check out the Pacific
Concern I had.
Power's, what limitations there may be with our lease with Pacific Power first. And then I'll report back in 2 weeks,
Okay.
at our work session with regards to that, and then you can decide from there whether you want to. And I'll get a
If we can,
copy
in
of
the
all the
meantime,
proposals
yeah.
to everybody,
Yeah, that would be good.
and then you
Look it
can
over.
decide whether you want to ask Mr. Snell, Bart Snell is the gentleman. He made a proposal similar to this to the Bullard Canyon
Yeah.
group, to do
Several
this
years
up
ago.
by
Yeah,
the
it was
shooting range area.
three
Yeah.
years ago or
Okay.
so that he
Yeah.
did that, and it didn't work out for up there at all, but
Okay,
for a number of reasons.
Okay.
I'll go ahead, remind everybody this weekend, I believe it's the 15th, or the 16th, August 16th, is the Occupy E Street, which will be take place over here. There'll be the car show, food, music, should be an enjoyable afternoon, and looks like all of our wonderful rainstorms will be over. We should be back in nice, warm, hot, sunny days. So, I'd also like you all to know that I will be absent on the August 26th meeting. I'm gonna take a little vacation.
Another one?
Yeah. I love being retired. The other thing, I hope you guys have all noticed the new sign, or the sign they reinstalled down at the MC Chuck Wagon.
Looks nice.
That's a
Oh,
lot
it's
nicer sign.
very nice,
Really
very
looks
nice.
great.
I like
Yeah,
that sign.
I agree with you. And, in reference to Mike's sign comment earlier, there is a new business in town, down at the car wash. They're, selling it's a sandwich shop, taco stand, baked potato type things.
At the car wash?
At the car wash, there's a song for that.
Yeah.
Yes, anyway, yes, at the car wash, and,
Oh, that's what that was about.
that's probably why the signs are there, but I
I never could
agree with
figure
you.
out where-
Their food is delicious, by the way, but, their signage leaves something to be desired. Okay, and that's all I have. Sandy?
What?
We're in,
Oh, outside of reading everything and all that, I haven't had any other activities.
Nor have I.
nor have you, Mike?
And I know Ray and I told you all that we had an upcoming meeting with Red Rock, but there has been no activity whatsoever. We've not heard anything from them, so that's my report on that.
Yes. Disconcerting.
Yeah, it is a bit, yeah. Ray, you have anything?
A few. First thing is, we do have a new employee out front. Dawn Roberts has joined us as the utility clerk. We're just starting her second week. She did put some time in hours after her other job as she was leaving YMCA before she came here. So we do have Dawn out front. I think you all probably met her, so I won't make her come in. We had recently meeting a couple of months ago, been in contact with OSHA regarding the possibility of going through their consultation process over at the Emergency Services Building. Yesterday and today, the consultant with OSHA was here going over all the paperwork in the facilities with Dennis and actually Travis representing Chief Camp. And the purpose of this is to identify weaknesses in our program and address those before we get a OSHA enforcement inspection, which would identify the same problems but come along with a fine of some kind or other. So actually there's a few things to do. We're in pretty good shape for the most part, it sounds like. So that's been going on. With regards to Red Rock, the last meeting that we had planned to have was canceled. Brad Winters was looking for some information from Larry Holzgang, our economic development person from the state of Oregon, and we hadn't gotten that information yet. So it was canceled. However, I contacted Red Rock just to see. They had told us that they were going to know if they were selected as one of the two locations to go forward with the U.S. Department of Defense. And as of Friday, the announcement still has not been made. So we're a month late and then some. So there doesn't seem to be a lot of pressure or movement at this point. I don't know what's happening with regards to the decision with Red Rock. So.
Does part of that decision depend upon the Congress, because they're about to start their summer recess?
They've already
They are.
started it,
It is. This is the middle of August already.
having done nothing.
These seem to be funds that were already granted or grants waiting to be awarded is what I think they were looking at, because they were starting very fast after receiving the grant.
I believe the funds that were set for these projects were part of the Department of Defense budget that was approved already, so the appropriations for them. So I don't think that's the issue, but there must be some discussion about the merits of the program possibly, or project specifically. Maybe, I don't know. We haven't been privy to anything other than I can tell you that the decision as who's been selected has not been made. So,
Or if it's been made, it hasn't been passed along.
if it's been made, we don't know what it is. That's right. Yeah. So that's all I have.
Ray, hopefully you know, I know one of our congressmen will be here next week, I believe, and I didn't bring the paperwork with me. Do you know who and when that is?
Actually, Congressman Walden was here last Thursday. at 8:30 at this.
Last Thursday?
Yeah.
I thought there was some date with a team day, you know.
Unless one of our senators is coming, and I haven't been advised.
I
They are-
got an email on it and I forgot to print it off, so.
That's the only, I think I had sent an email out to everybody with regards to Congress. I know I'd heard from Michael that he was going to be in Altus on Thursday, wouldn't be able to be there, so.
I think I was camping.
I was gonna say, I can't remember if Mike
Forest.
Warren was there or
No
not.
cell phone.
I talked to Sandy and she
It was
was not going to make it. I didn't talk to Sharon and you were,
I was over VA, so.
Yeah.
Okay, well, alrighty. Amy, did you have anything?
No?
Okay, thank you. We'll go ahead and, we have no old business, we'll move into new business, and all we have is the amendment to the intergovernmental agreement for air quality. And it looks pretty much just a little bit of a language change is all that's there. They added some, the old sentence read 17,000 for the period ending June 30, 2014. The new language says 17,000 for the period of July 1, 2014 through June 30, 2015, so.
So a total of 34,000.
Pardon? And that's the only change, so, if it meets with the council's approval, I'd accept the motion to approve this.
I move we approve the amendment to the intergovernmental agreement concerning the wood stove reduction program.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
I have a motion and a second to approve the amendment to the intergovernmental agreement to wood smoke reduction program. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Motion carries unanimous. Did we have an executive session?
No.
Not needed?
none needed.
Okay. Any other comments from the audience? Mr. Frank?
I could make another little comment. Was a 3 or 4 line article in Time magazine 2 or 3 issues back, had to do with local, the definition of local in relation to farming, I believe it was. And the Department of Agriculture said local was an area within a radius of 400 miles from Boston to New York, I think it was. So local, 400 miles is local.
I
I've
guess.
seen a lot of farm fields, didn't
Yeah. Okay. That being said, I will adjourn the council at 4:28. Thank you all.